the girl in the jungle. Leela had always been a city girl, with bustling streets and constant noise as her backdrop. But today, her world was different. The plane had crashed. The dense jungle below had swallowed the wreckage. And now, here she was, stranded alone in the wilds of the Amazon. Her heart pounded as she picked herself up from the muddy ground. Smoke still curled up from the wreckage in the distance, but there was no sign of any other survivors. Her fingers trembled, but she quickly shoved down the panic. "Stay calm," she whispered to herself. "You can do this." The jungle was thick with life. Unfamiliar sounds echoed around her as the sun filtered through the dense canopy above. But none of it mattered now. She needed to survive. With a deep breath, Lila scanned her surroundings. A small stream ran nearby, and she instinctively knew that water was the first priority. She made her way toward it, stepping carefully over fallen branches, avoiding thorns that clawed at her legs. The water was cool and clear, a life-saving discovery. She cupped her hands and drank, savoring the simple relief it brought. As the hours passed, Lila gathered what little she could from the wreckage, scavenging a few scraps of food, a tattered tarp, and some basic tools. Using the tarp, she managed to create a small shelter, her hands shaking as she fashioned a crude lean-to. She knew that the jungle could be a place of beauty, but also of danger. The night would be cold, and the creatures of the jungle would be waking soon. Lila didn't sleep much that first night. Every sound, every rustle, kept her alert. She knew she needed to be resourceful and smart. She could hear the calls of howler monkeys and the chirp of insects. But in her gut, she also sensed the presence of predators. Jaguars, perhaps, or even snakes. The next day, she spent hours walking through the jungle, using her wits to find food. She learned to identify edible fruits, collected rainwater in makeshift containers, and started a small fire using the wreckage. The fire was more than just warmth. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol that she was still fighting to survive. Days turned into weeks. Lila adapted, and slowly, the jungle no longer felt so alien. Her senses sharpened. She learned to move silently, her footsteps becoming lighter, her body more in tune with the land. She hunted small game with snares she created, and her shelter grew sturdier. But it wasn't just survival that drove her. It was the thought of being found. Every day she looked for signs of passing planes or ships, scanning the sky, her heart leaping every time she thought she saw a flash of movement in the distance. One afternoon, when Lila had nearly lost hope, she spotted something. A faint trail of smoke curled into the air far off in the distance. Another sign of human life. Her heart raced. This was her chance. She packed what little she had and set